Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. The news is also live on Kesmi 107.1 FM and across the world at 3news.com. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Supreme Court set to hear yet another injunction application seeking to halt the ongoing hearing of petitions for the removal of suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu. Also coming up, Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice Shraj raises human rights concerns over recent evacuation of undocumented migrants by Ghana Immigration Service. And much later, traders at the New Plant Station in some part of Accra clash with the AMA task force undertaking exercise to decongest the city. We have an update on day 2 of the campaign. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, has called on the Ghana Immigration Service to uphold human rights standards in the ongoing exercise to repatriate undocumented migrants to their countries of origin. While acknowledging the challenges posed by undocumented migration, SHRAJ emphasized the need to treat migrants with respect and dignity, especially given that a significant proportion are women and children. SHRAJ also urged authorities to adhere to the principle of non-refoulement, which prohibits returning individuals to countries where they may face persecution or harm. The statement follows the repatriation of some 925 undocumented migrants arrested during a recent...
Very much, and let me say a very good afternoon to our listeners. I think it's just coincided with our communique that we issued last week and also repeated this week. Migration is a very delicate topic and subject that we need to handle and handle it carefully. Also because Ghana has committed to so many international protocols to the extent that we have accepted to be a champion country for safe, orderly, and regular migration. What it means is that Ghana avails its territory to safeguard migrants, whether forced migration or regular migration. And therefore, any action that we take on migrants, we need to refer back to our protocols that we have entered to, read the tenets of those protocols before we act. So now Ghana is seeking to send back people who have entered the country either forcefully or not on the regular routine. For me, I would say SHRAJ and the other institutions probably have inside details of the treatment of these migrants that they are rushing. But I think the processes that the Immigration Service is using will conform to the protocols that we are centered to. The people are being held at the holding centers. What we need to ensure is that those holding centers are humane and protect their rights. So they are being filed to ensure those whose countries are safe to be sent back to, and those whose countries are facing some hostilities that cannot safeguard the human rights of the people who are here. And if in that case, those people should be maintained and protected in our homeland. So this is the initial assessment I can have.
Let me take you back a little bit, though. I mean, what's your general thought on this initiative by the Ghana Immigration Service, bearing in mind the kind of scenes we saw on our streets?
It's a regular thing that every country does. We have two systems of checking irregular migration to any state. One is you do on the entry point check, where people are entering, you are able to access their documentation, know how long they are going to be in your country, and then you process them for that. Two, because in Africa, for example, our borders are porous. People do enter at the blind side of the law enforcement agencies. So they do on the spot checks to find out those who are in the country, the kind of documents they have, also check their background, as I said, and see whether they should be regularized to be in the country or protected because of certain happenings in their country. Otherwise, those people are supported, not rushed, not sent back. they are supported to go back to their home country. So it's a regular activity that happens in every state, that if you are not able to check while they are entering, once a while, you do screening to see who are on regular migration in the country, who entered irregularly, how do I treat them, whether I should regularize their stay or I should support them to go back. So it's not anything new as far as migration policies are concerned.
In your opinion, this is just correcting an error that was perhaps committed earlier over the years?
I won't say error that has been committed. I will say because of challenges of having all-round protected borders. I've told you, Boda, I wouldn't go back to the strength, logistics, and capacity to be able to man all borders that we have, especially the land borders. It's very difficult and impossible. So definitely people can squeeze in at the blind side of the law enforcement agencies. That's why it's important that they do this regular searches to identify those who are here. Let me say, my sister, it's not only mobilizing these people to repatriate them. In some countries where these people are mobilized and we know their individual and peculiar challenges, the state also supports them. That's why I said I don't know the information that the track has, but to me and my understanding and insight of migration policies is not only to collect these people to repatriate them or harass them, but sometimes you need to also find out their peculiar challenges and see how the state can coordinate with the embassies in the country to support such people. So it's the other way around. We can have both sides.
Indeed. Now, in your recent communique, the Coalition of CSOs on Migration also emphasized the need to comply with existing ECOWAS or AU protocols on migration. I'm wondering how you think nations like Ghana can enforce their laws without violating these protocols.
So when you look at that communique that we issued, one of the challenges we identified was ineffective coordination mechanisms to coordinate all agencies that have role to play as far as migration is concerned, both immigration and immigration. And I can tell you almost all government ministries and certain agencies have various roles to play. We can have gender ministries that play a role on gender and youth migrants. We can have NATMO, we can have the migration units at the Interior Ministry, the Ghana Police Service, the GIS, and almost all institutions that can just slate. When it comes to labor migration and their pension rights, SLATE has a role to play. The Ministry of Labor has a role to play. But we saw that either some of them have conflicting duties and duplication, while others are also trampling upon mandates that are not originally theirs. That's why we said we need to have a coordinating unit or a body that can coordinate migration governance in the country. So some of these things that are going haphazardly in the country could be properly communicated to the citizens to know why the GIS is doing this, the importance of these spot checks, and what benefits even the migrants themselves stand to gain.
Mr. Brampa, in like 30 seconds, what further recommendations do you have moving forward on these beyond what you've said?
Well, so the challenge that we need to do is that, one, Ghana has committed to protocols. And in fact, we are the first country to have accepted to be a champion country for safe, orderly, and regular migration. And therefore, all activities that our state agencies will do, they must make sure that we conform to the standard that we set to ourselves so that we are able to protect the rights of migrants and also make them safe. Even if we want to repatriate them, they arrive safely to their destination.
We'll end it here. Thank you so much, Mr. Brampa, for speaking to us.
Thank you too much, sir.
And you heard Pawanana Kwabena Abrampa Mensah. He's programs manager in charge of security sector governance at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, and also a member of the Coalition of CSOs on migration. Now, the decongestion exercise by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly Task Force is taking place at Circle New Plant Station, Kaneshi, and other parts of the capital city on day 2 of the campaign. Hundreds of traders have been evicted from unauthorized spaces as part of ongoing exercise to clear pavement and roadsides to allow free flow of human and vehicular traffic, as well as ensure sanity in the city. But today's exercise has been characterized by tension between some traders and members of the task force. Armstrong Joseph Good Alugbe is with the team. He joins us live on the line. Armstrong, just tell us what you can see so far.
Yeah, Beatrice, so as I speak right now, I can confirm to you that this exercise has not really yielded any positive results so far. If you come to Circle, where the people were yesterday and today, you will not see any sign of any activities that have even taken place, because the pavement is still occupied by the traders, and the people are still struggling to find even footpath to walk on, as the traders are still fully occupying the various pavements. So not much has happened, and it appears the assembly probably have not really come up with a good plan to deal with this yearly problem, because as I speak to you right now, the task force has moved towards Circle, where they've moved towards Carnation, I beg your pardon, where when they got there, the plan was to decongest that place, but they stood there for a while and they decided to move forward without not knowing what exactly to do. So as I speak to you right now, it seems the exercise is not yielding the positive results that the task force or the AMA seeks to achieve. Beatrice.
Yeah, but just paint a picture for us beyond what you said, the kind of tension that is brewing between the task force and the people who are there.
So the tension is when the task force gets to a location and they are very selective in what they clear. The next person you go to clear from the pavement is like, you left these people and you've come to me, why don't you clear everything? But it appears you are being selective in the decongestion exercise. So that is what led to some few tensions, and it's exactly what has been happening since the morning. So that has also made the task force a little bit slow in the exercise they are doing, because they don't know which goods to touch, which goods not to touch. Because as it stands right now, today, they've been asked not to seize any goods as they did yesterday. And this and many other things seems to have had a toll on the entire exercise that is leaving the task force not to know exactly what to do to clear the pavements of the traders.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joseph Armstrong Gold. Fantastic for bringing us these this latest update on this. Let's speak to Gilbert Anka. He speaks for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
I don't know whether you had the opportunity to listen to our reporter who spoke to us about some challenge the task force of your office is facing in terms of enforcing what you intend to enforce. How do you intend to deal with this problem?
I wasn't able to hear clearly exactly, but the letter I heard was with respect to the fact that our guys are facing some difficulty, and they are not clear as to what to do. Respectfully, I beg to differ. Clear directions have been given to them on exactly what to do with respect to ensuring that trading activities on the street are cleared, and they are doing that. For the traders, they are aware that this is what is happening. On the pavement this morning, for instance, Mayor himself officially began the demarcation of the red line for the traders to be able to embark on their usual trading activities. And let me say that the red line policy is to regulate the trading activities on these selected areas within the central business cities as part of efforts to restore order and improve pedestrian access and urban mobility in the city.
Mr. Ankara, one main question people keep asking is how sustainable this is, because this is not the first time we're seeing a task force, on our streets, in markets, trying to clear the streets, and just months later, you see them back and it looks like nothing was even done before.
With respect to sustainability, I can tell you that a lot of measures have been put in place in the short, medium, and long term to be able to address the issue more holistically. So in the short term, what is happening is that in the interim, Mayor has instructed that the government is not into displace any of the traders. We are looking at redemarcating the pavement, and that was what I was about to say. Mayor began the redemarcation of the pavement, the red line policy today himself. And that we are hoping that what has been done, the traders who be at least the designated areas to be able to ply their trade. Aside that, we're also looking at this rotational trading system where specific days, 2 days of the week will be designated for trading activities on specific streets within the city. And that, as I speak to you, all modalities on that have been taken. Signages are ready and all that. Then in the coming days, that particular initiative be rolled out. So that's notwithstanding, just as I said, as part of sustainability, we're also looking at ensure that in the long term, the markets that we have will be redevelopment. Mayor Honorable Michael Quality has assured that government is going to put in a lot more funds to redevelop more of these markets. You know, we have Slaga Market, which needs some level of completion. London Market is also there. We have Slaga Market, and we have Pasiaja, and some other markets. That's notwithstanding, you know, other markets within the Greater Accra region, government has promised that these other satellite markets would also be redeveloped. So we are quite hopeful that when all these things come in, with respect to the short, long, medium, and long term, it will go a long way to ensure that this particular exercise is sustained. Now, let me add briefly. You know, this time around, the public support is there, stakeholder support is there, and the political will is there. So it will go a long way to sustain the exercise.
Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
And you heard that Gilbert Ankra, he speaks for the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Well, on Tuesday, the Chief Executive Officer of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Michael Papo Alote, said that the campaign will be sustained to ensure traders do not return to the streets.
J91. As I said, I don't give promises and I don't stand by the promises. Whatever I say, I do. So, what I'm saying is that this exercise is not 91. We are on the streets, so we make sure that the roads are clear and everybody, me, joining with my brother here, we have done a good job. God bless you. And we are not done. The next 1 hour, we are going back to the streets. From here, we are going to we'll pass through where we are coming from, all the way to Circle. And if there is more strength, we'll go to Kaneshi. Then we'll continue tomorrow. God bless you. We'll see you soon.
And you heard the Chief Executive of Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Michael Papo Alote. Now, 3FM is learning that a 10-story building at Flour Mills Ghana Limited, formerly Gapoha Yard in Tema, is on fire. Let's quickly get an update from Desmond Aka. He's Divisional Fire Officer and PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. What can you tell us, please? Hello? Okay. We seem to have lost him on the line there, but what we are learning indeed that the fire reportedly broke out at about 8:45 a.m. this morning, originating from the third floor. The first firefighting appliance arrived on the scene just 6 minutes later at 8:51 a.m., enabling a swift response, according to information gathered so far. Let's see whether we can get Mr. Aka. Hello, Mr. Aka, can you hear us? Okay. You're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7, 20 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some issues from the court. Don't go away.
Adama for the Abba, a freezer. Adama, a Kwasemensia. Adama, Metamosua, my sorry. Canino, Obo Moasia. I do for Nobium Unum and San last night. I don't know what we do. Adama for Adama, we say. Yeah, drop a copy, a ship we be a high technology. I could for freezer. When Kwan, and once open your 15 letters. No fugum, what ya no fugum. What the bus here, if we be any what you equal to say, over Timono. Then we sure say, woman sure task here. Then what's enough for now? Freezer, power up a day. Freezer, Basia, a basson do so among. I'm winning. I'm me. Me what's he got? Me. But you may not do some doom. Adama, without Adama, no queer. Adama, you can't resist.
Ubenya Adama West Africa for edwe bi wo baby biara ye ton kra ye ho edwu. Afi kayo ne kenkan enchoya ewo edre ho.
And you're still here on the Midday News on Shri FM 92.7. Now, Civil Society Group Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems has filed a suit at the Supreme Court questioning the processes leading to the suspension of Gertrude Tokonu as Chief Justice. The group says that the process lacks due diligence and violated standards of fairness, non-discrimination and lawful administrative action as required by the Constitution. Lord Edwasari is our man in court. He joins us live on the line. Lord, we understand that there are 2 injunction applications so far. Just tell us more.
Right, Beatrice. So, like you indicated, the first injunction has been filed by a CSO, Center for Citizenship, Constitutional and Electoral Systems. Now, their case is that when the prima facie was found against the Chief Justice, the President should have made it known to the Chief Justice, the suspended Chief Justice, Gertrude Tokonu. And so they are asking the courts to restrain the committee from continuing with their work and then also suspend that suspension warrant, which has resulted in the Chief Justice's present status. As part of the argument, the lawyer for the group, Jacob Akwa, he made the argument that he actually attached documents he says that he acquired from social media. The substantive case has to do with the Supreme Court interpreting the Article 1468, which has to do with the in-camera hearings of the petition against the Chief Justice. They argue that, and Beatrice, you can't relate that within the past few days or even weeks, we've seen documents alleged to be has to do with the petition against the Chief Justice and also some of the allegations against on social media. So the lawyer attached some of these documents and indicated that these are classified documents that shouldn't have been in the public domain because the hearing in itself, the committee hearing, should have been in camera. But this is the case that these documents are on social media, which he actually acquired. But at that point, the Deputy Attorney General, who is leading the prosecution, asked the court to dismiss or strike out their injunction because the documents are, as it were, they should be classified. And so he was actually questioning where he got it from. At that point, that's when the lawyer for the group indicated that he got it from social media. And then the panel of justices, led by the Chief Justice, the acting Chief Justice, Bafoboni, indicated, but Justice Amadou Tanko, he asked him that is he sure that the document that he's claiming that he got from social media are actually those classified documents, because these documents normally have a seal. Can he authenticate this to be true? And he wasn't very confident on that front, except to say that from the reports that they have gotten, it shows that these are the classified documents. And so, that's where we are at right now. But the defendants of the case of this CSO are the Chief Justice. I'm talking about the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, the Attorney General, and then Justice Gabriel Pomang, the chairperson of the committee probing the petitions against the Chief Justice. Now, the lawyer for the Chief Justice, Adu, his case was actually that there's not even a prima facie determination against the Chief Justice. His argument was that if there was any, that should have been made available to her. Now, he also argues that there were 3 petitions against the Chief Justice, all stating different allegations. But in the communication by the Secretary to the President, it just indicated that they had found a prima facie determination against the Chief Justice and then subsequently suspended her. They did not indicate which of the petitions, which of the allegations, and all that. And so it cannot be that there was actually a prima facie determination against the Chief Justice. If there was any, they should make it available. And so he actually indicated that because this was not the case, and his argument being that there was no prima facie determination, it also trickles down to say that the suspension warrant effected against the Chief Justice should also be null and void because there was no prima facie determination. So these arguments are still ongoing. Actually, when I was stepping out, the Deputy Attorney General was now making his oral argument in opposition to this injunction application.
Thanks.
A little later, the injunction application by the private citizen, Kofi Asa, is yet to be called. And so when that is done, we'll bring it out.
Thank you so much, Lord Edwasare. He's our court affairs correspondent. Now, the severe shortage of medical doctors, healthcare workers, and critical medical equipment in Nanton District continues to undermine the quality of healthcare delivery in the region. Residents are bearing the brunt of this crisis, forced to travel long distances, sometimes several kilometers away to Savalugu or Tamale just to access essential health services. Let's speak to Christopher Marco, who's been monitoring the situation for us. Chris, I can only imagine how difficult the situation must be for residents, but are you able to tell us really the gaps that this very health facility has had to face, the reason we're seeing what we're saying?
Yes, so Beatrice, if you go to the Nanton district, which was created in 2018, there is no single medical doctor in that district. Other essential healthcare givers are not also in the district. This is so because the district does not have a hospital. It doesn't also have a polyclinic. So they are only relying on health centers, 3 health centers in the entire district and other chief compounds. And so when these patients visit the hospital and their conditions demand extra attention, they will have to be referred to Savalugu or Tamale, which first of all is stressful for the patients, especially pregnant women and children. Also, it is very expensive traveling from Nanton to Savalugu or Tamale to access healthcare services. And so it has become a major concern for the residents. Another concern has to do with the fact that the medical equipment that is supposed to be in these health facilities, like ultrasound, like X-ray and other services, they do not get them. So every case that demands extra attention will have to be referred to Tamale.
Okay, I want us to listen to rather the MP for the area. Chris, just hold on for a second. Chris, we'll try and bring that sound to our listeners later, but if you can tell us briefly what the MP said about dealing with the situation.
The MP has indicated as a medical doctor himself, addressing the healthcare challenges of the people in the Nanton area is his priority. And this was in line with the president's vision of ensuring that the health sector is given some needed attention. And so he's been, first of all, donating medical equipment to the chief compounds in the district. He's also ensuring that the Agenda 111 hospital that is ongoing, he's been talking to the Ministry of Health to ensure that that one is completed. Even if it's not completed, one of the health centers should be upgraded to a polyclinic so that they will have a medical doctor to attend to their health needs.
Christopher Marco, thank you so much for speaking to us. And Chris is he reports from the northern parts of the country. Log on to 3news.com for more news. My name is Beatrice Adu. Have a good afternoon.
Get ready, Ghana. The road is calling and the wheels are spinning. It's the 3FM Tour. Get ready, Ghana. Saturday, 7th June 2025. From the heart of Accra to the border town of Aplao, we are pedaling for the planet in a thrilling 192-kilometer ride across Ghana's scenic eastern corridor. Whether you're a seasoned cyclist or a passionate pedal pusher, this is your moment to shine. Form your teams, grab your helmet, and race for glory in Ghana's biggest cycling showdown. Challenge your limits, conquer the distance, ride for sustainability, be part of history. To register, call 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927. 3FM Tour to Ghana, powered by 3FM.
Well, the distance now.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obudu. Coming up, producer price inflation drops by 6.7 percentage points to 20.8% in April 2025, and pressure mounts on businesses and the general public to reduce prices as transport operators cut fares by 15%.
Greedy that they want to make supernormal profit. They want to make windfalls out of this whole thing that is happening.
Plus, 124th Monetary Policy Committee currently underway to determine government's way forward with tackling the monetary policy rates. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay. And thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. The producer price inflation PPI for a rate for April 2025 stood at 20.8%, reflecting a significant decrease of 6.7 percentage points from March 2025's rate of 27.5%. This decline indicates a slowdown in industrial producer inflation. Mining and quarrying recorded the most substantial increase, rising from 289.9 in April 2024 to 360.3 in April 2025, despite fluctuations in November and October. The manufacturing sector showed modest growth, with 5 major groups recording inflation rates above the sector's average of 20.8%. Now, Executive Chairman of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, John Awuni, has renewed calls urging members and the general public to reduce prices of goods and services. With transport fares expected to drop by 15% this Saturday, Reverend Awuni argues that there's no justification for maintaining current price levels. He cites the cedi's over 16% appreciation against the US dollar since the start of the year, as reported by Bloomberg, as another reason for price adjustments.
It's very, 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 very unnecessary. The price hikes, the extortion is very unnecessary. I am calling on many other organizations to respond swiftly. Our Food and Beverage Association, we are still persuading our members and calling upon them to let the right thing be done at the marketplace. Let the prices reflect accordingly in the marketplace. And I'm also happy that my colleagues at GUTA are also doing the same thing. And AGI too are also responding. So we are calling for all associations. And let nobody be greedy that they want to make supernormal profit. They want to make windfalls out of this whole thing that is happening. When you do that and you say you are a Muslim or you are a Christian, it's a major sin you are committing, and that money will not help you.
Reverend John Awuni is Executive Director of the Food and Beverages Association of Ghana, FABAG. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has assured the investor community of Ghana's readiness to support business growth and development. Speaking at the ongoing 3rd Ghana-EU Business Forum in Accra, President Mahama emphasized government's commitment to maintaining consistent policies and protecting investor rights, both domestically and internationally, to foster a favorable business environment.
I assure all potential partners that under this administration, Ghana is committed to transparent governance, policy predictability, and a reformed business environment. We're restoring confidence in our public procurement systems, enforcing contract sanctity, and protecting investor rights under both domestic
and international legal regimes. Excellencies, distinguished guests, let us move beyond dialogue to implementation. Let this forum serve as a platform to launch new partnerships, to create decent jobs, and to transform industry. This government stands ready to work with the EU Commission and its member states to harmonize standards, resolve trade bottlenecks, and foster innovation-led growth.
You hear the President John Dramani Mahama speaking. Now, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, in partnership with the European Union, is implementing the Green Growth Project to equip youth and women with entrepreneurial skills focused on green and circular economic practices, according to project lead Christopher Adu. The initiative aims to promote sustainable businesses, alleviate poverty, and enhance social and economic empowerment of small-scale enterprises through skills training, ultimately contributing to a more sustainable environment.
The youth, and especially women, in the area of green and circular enterprises, how to, those involved in agriculture, how to make their production process more green. And those involved in small-scale enterprises, how to make sure that their production help to promote the environment and to take advantage of potentials within the secular sector to enhance their profits and their growth. And then we also have the third component, which is looking at green finance. We have engaged some experts from KNUST to help us develop models that will provide sustainable finance of small-scale enterprises, so that they wouldn't have to contend with the challenges to do with conventional market rate, but to deal with sustainable finance, climate finance, green finance, which have a focus on environmental and social objectives rather than just profits.
So hear the voice of Christopher Adi Nayo. He is the Green Growth Project Lead for the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEC, has welcomed the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU's announcement of a reduction in transport fares. However, it is calling for full compliance across the industry, particularly from ride-hailing service providers. The General Secretary of the GPRTU, Alhaji Abbas Ibrahim Moro, confirmed that members of the union have been directed to reduce transport fares by 15% effective Saturday, 24th May 2025. The decision follows a meeting between the union's national executives and the Minister of Transport. Fuel prices have dropped 6 consecutive times this year, with some stations such as Star Oil selling petrol at around 12 cedis 45 pesos per litre, offering some relief to transport operators. In a related development, the Abuso Okai Spare Parts Dealers Association has also announced plans to reduce prices, a move that could further ease operational costs within the transport sector. Speaking to 3 Business, Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, described the developments as encouraging.
What that means is that the cost of fuel going down has not been a fluke. People are beginning to see the very real impact that we expected to have and which we are having today. So for me, I say thumbs up to the transport operators. We are not done yet. Indications are that we could still make some gains on the city. We could still see the fuel price decline further in the coming days. If we hit 10, they should be rest assured we'll come back again asking for more reductions.
He also urged ride-hailing platforms to follow suit so that consumers across the board can benefit from the sustained drop in fuel prices.
We would also expect the online drivers, Yango, Uber, and everybody else, not to pretend they have not seen the wave of positivity blowing across the length and breadth of the country. We would want to see them also decline on their rates to commuters so that everybody can at least feel some relief from what we have witnessed since January 2025.